How's it going, guys? This is going to be my intro video to YouTube. So, this is just going to be a video of me telling you a bit about myself, who I am, what I'm doing on your screen, why I'm taking up your time. So, let's get into it. I am a 19-year-old day trader. I have closed out the month of August at roughly $42,400. And I am super psyched to be able to say that I've reached this point at my age with the amount of time that I've put into my craft, you could say. I have put in so much time and dedication into trading, and I took the longer route, if anything, because I was stubborn and I just bashed my head against the wall, metaphorically speaking, to buy a whole bunch of fundeds, and I'll just keep entering and keep doing this and doing it the hard way and the wrong way and blowing money until I finally figured out that, oh, I can actually not do that, and that's the wrong way to do that. And if I just kind of, it's like trying to fight against a river. If you're trying to swim against the river, you're going to get beat up, and it's not going to really work. If you just kind of surrender to the river, in a sense, you're going to just flow with it. It's going to be a much smoother ride than trying to force it. So yeah, whatever. Kind of a cliche saying, but who cares? So, yeah, I have made a couple takes of this. I've kind of realized beforehand it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really need to be perfect. And I don't want it to be. I just want it to be raw. Who am I? Me. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. I'm not really going to be editing, much or going crazy with that at all because I just don't feel like I need to. It's one of my goals to be as authentic as possible and not, be fake and have a whole bunch of different personas for a whole bunch of different places. I just want to be me as much as I can with everybody so there's no confusion or any, deception, I guess I could say. But yeah, so I have been day trading for roughly 2 years now. I have become profitable. I trade with Top Step and Alpha Futures, which are two prop firms. I'm going to be branching out to other prop firms as well as I grow, but I want to kind of document a bit of my journey on social media and help teach people. A lot of people have asked me, how do you trade? How do you do what you do? Whatever. And my answer kind of is, well, they kind of asked me to teach them, I guess, and I would say my answer is sure, I'll teach you. I don't mind teaching people. The thing that I have kind of realized though with teaching people is that a lot of people say they want to learn, but they don't really want to learn. They're just saying it because it sounds nice in the moment and it makes themselves feel good. I mean, in reality, when it comes to actually learning and putting in all the time and work that it takes, it's a very rare occurrence that people are actually willing to do what it takes and go put in the background work on their own. Because the thing about entrepreneurship and trading is that I'm I like to compare it to college. In college, you have to do your homework, you got to study for your exams, your teacher is going to check up on you and make sure you're doing whatever. In entrepreneurship and stuff like this, it's not I'm not going to come after you and make sure you're, back testing and studying and journaling and doing all the things that you should be doing. You know, uh, yeah, I mean everything that you should be doing. I mean, I'm not going to make sure you're doing all that. I personally couldn't care less. If you want it, you're going to do it yourself, and I know you will. And if you don't want it, you're not going to do it. So that's one of the things I've found out with teaching people is that people say they want it, but there's a big difference. I say this a lot between want and want. You can want the pros of something, but do you want the hardships that come with it? I want to be a basketball player, but do I want to go out and shoot 1,000 shots you know, every day, multiple times a day, and put in all the work it takes to become that? Work on all my dribbling and all this to fine tune myself so I can actually be a type of weapon good enough to make it to the NBA. No, I'm also, I just it's not my passion. I love playing basketball, but it's not my passion enough to want to take all of that um, struggle and suffering. I mean, it really is. I mean, I have a lot of respect for people who can make it to the NBA because it's such a small percentage of people and it takes such a tremendous amount of work. And it's the same kind of thing with trading. In order to get to the top 1% of anything, you need to be willing to do what 99% of other people aren't. And that means going the extra mile, persevering and doing the extra steps. And I'm proud to say that I have achieved doing all those extra steps and forced myself to do it all, and I couldn't be happier because of it. I mean, it was a really tough road. When I first started learning, a lot of people tell me I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have that, and it's just a lot of the times it's I want to just look them in the face and say you're just making excuses because maybe there is valid reasons here and there, but a lot of the times people are just saying it because it it makes them feel better in the moment. Well, I don't have time. Well, now if it's justified by the fact you don't have time, well, you can't really say anything about it because, oh, well, you don't have time. But in reality, how many hours a day are people sitting there doom scrolling on TikTok or on Facebook or on Instagram or, watching YouTube or watching a movie or doing this or doing that or doing other things? When I first started to learn, I was working two jobs on top of going to school. So I would do a nighttime driving job delivering newspapers. I would also be working at Target, and I would also be going to school at the same time, doing homework and everything else that I needed to do and whatever else. And people say I don't have time. I mean, I was literally like, I would be driving. I wouldn't be watching, videos while I was driving, but I would have it like the audio hooked up to my car, listening to people talk about trading and things like that. I used to have, I think it's called, yeah, your 46 at Target, which is where I used to work. And on my 46-minute break for lunch, I would sit there and I would play videos and sit there and eat food and watch videos and learn while I could. I would be, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter now because I don't work there, but I would be, doing the online orders, doing the shopping off the shelves and stuff like that, going around with the cart and whatever, and I'd have my phone, behind something in the cart watching a video, with an AirPod in, just doing everything I could to keep learning and to keep growing and getting better. At nighttime, popping a Monster, getting off of a shift at Target at, I don't know, 9 or 10 p.m. And then overnight, I would have to get up at 2 p.m. So I would just pop a Monster after work and I would sit there for 4 hours and just go on Baby Pips and on TradingView and, all the stuff with Forex and everything else that I had to learn. And I put in so much work that I made it so impossible for me to fail, and I'm so beyond glad that I did that. A lot of people will sit there and make excuses of, oh, well, I have work and this and that. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But like the top 1% of people that will actually make it in trading are the type of people that will look at those obstacles and they will find a way around it. They'll say, okay, one of the things I did to allow myself to be able to trade was I started working at restaurants, which allowed me to work at, I don't know, like 4 to 10 or something like that, still make decent money while freeing up my mornings and my days so I could be able to trade in the morning and whatever else. And moral of the story, I am on here to try to teach and educate people about how I trade. Like I said, it's not financial advice. I'm not going to tell you you're going to, turn a whole $1 million over out of nowhere or anything really. I'm not promising you anything because that will come down to the individual person and not the strategy, really. I know people who are profitable with, you know, all sorts of different stuff. Like I know people who literally they won't even get on the chart. They'll look at the number of the Nasdaq, whether it's going up, down, how it's going. They'll look at it for a few minutes. They'll take a trade, they'll enter it, and then they'll make money. And I could never imagine doing it. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that. That's pretty insane. I don't know if they're lucky or not, but if they're profitable and they're making money, I mean, all the power to them because in the end, that's what matters if you're profitable and consistently. So, it all depends on the person. It is like I said, 90%, your mentality and your psychology, and like 10% realistically your strategy, because you can be profitable with just about any strategy if you really can use it. Now, like I said, there's some strategies that have certain edges over others. I'd like to say that mine is a one of the better strategies out there, but to each their own. I can only speak on my experience, and my experience is that my strategy works very consistently for me. In August, I had a 17-day winning day streak, and I think I lost over the course of the month, like, I don't know, 2 days or a day, 2 days, a day. I don't know, one of the two. I had like a losing day or two, and that's completely fine. It comes with the game. Losing comes with the game, and you have to be really okay with that. Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm here on YouTube to try to educate people who are willing to learn. I am making a boot camp series right now, for people who are, all the way from beginner to, advanced. I'm going to go through everything. It's going to be a longer boot camp, so I'm going to go through a whole array of different concepts and, things to learn that go along with my strategy that you need to kind of understand. And what I'm kind of expecting on the back end work is that whoa, what am I even saying? That you are going through and, writing your notes down and, doing all that stuff. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is find people who have the same level of drive and ambition and who really want it, and to teach anybody. Like, anybody who has that drive or that level of ambition, I love. Even if I could help like a single person to learn how to day trade, I would love it. Or how I day trade, to understand a little bit more about the charts. And yeah, so it is trading has changed my life. It is not a get rich quick scheme. Realistically speaking, if you are putting in a lot of time and work, like a lot, and you're not, half-assing it at all, you could potentially learn how to trade realistically in 6 months to a year, depending on the person. Now, for me, it took me a year and a half before I even learned. I wouldn't even say a year and a half, probably a little less than that, but roughly between a year and a half and a year, somewhere in there, before I actually learned the right things. And then once I started learning the right things, that's when I became consistently profitable, and here I am now. But yeah, I am a 19-year-old day trader who is making substantial returns. And all the people who have been asking for, to learn, or what am I doing and how am I doing it and this and that and whatever, this is going to be for them and for those people who really want it. This is an opportunity for you to potentially be able to um, have a chance to do what I'm doing. And for the people who want it bad enough, they will do what it takes. And for the people who don't, they will look and they'll say, I don't really feel like doing it. But at least at the end of the day, the information will be out there. And I can say that if you want to learn, go watch videos like the ones I'm making in the boot camp to learn. So, yeah, this is my offering. This is kind of my way to give back for all the kind of success that I've seen. I'd love to build a community of people. I do have a Discord that I do trade with. It is a paid server because I do live trading in there, and I answer questions one on one, and it's a lot more in depth. But this on YouTube is going to be obviously completely free. I'm not going to charge anyone anything on here, but oops. Yeah, so that's all I got for this video. So I'm going to post this. I'm going to keep making the bootcamp content, and thanks for watching. So if you're interested in learning how to trade, go check out that bootcamp. Hit that subscribe button so you can know when I'm posting another video. Any likes, anything would be appreciated. Any shares, whatever. But other than that, thank you for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.